here. And we hope you don't go anywhere because my friend Nick Smith continues our coverage now on NewsNation Now. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Kelly, how you doing? And may I just say that Robbie has the best aunt in the world?
Well, we just love you, Nick. Everybody does, and I can't believe you're anchoring pretty much all the shows here on NewsNation. I'm always impressed by you.
NewsNation Now starts right now. Right now, the race to the White House. The top GOP contender enters uncharted territory. What's next for former President Trump after Maine becomes the second state to ban him from the ballot? The Rook at work. Stunning new video the moment a Texas SWAT team is forced to use one of its most sophisticated bulletproof machines after an hours-long chase. A fugitive felon becomes a true master of disguise. A look behind the long list of aliases that helped one man evade law enforcement for some 4 years. A rogue wave hits Southern California. What happened next that landed several beachgoers in the hospital? Thanks for joining us. I'm Nick Smith in today for Nichole Berlie. We begin with yet another unprecedented move. Maine Secretary of State is barring former President Donald Trump from the state's primary election ballot. This follows a ruling earlier this month by the Colorado Supreme Court, also removing the former president from the ballot. The Maine Secretary of State and Colorado Supreme Court both citing the insurrection clause, with other states considering similar moves. Correspondent Joe Khalil is live in Washington. Joe, the Trump campaign is saying not so fast.
Yeah, they say all of this is unfair. It is a big shakeup in Maine, and it's different from the Colorado case because in Colorado, it was the state Supreme Court that ruled former President Trump cannot be on the ballot. In this case in Maine, that decision was made by just one person, Shenna Bellows, their Secretary of State. Now, she is the top elections officer, so she has the authority to do this, at least for now. But she did acknowledge here that, quote, "I'm mindful no Secretary of State in history has deprived a presidential candidate of ballot access based on the 14th Amendment. I'm also mindful," she went on, "that no presidential candidate has engaged in an insurrection." She also says, by the way, she is cognizant of the idea that her decision could soon be rendered overturned by the Supreme Court. That possibility, she says, though, does not relieve me of my responsibility to act. Now, look, she is correct on her second point in that it's very likely that this decision is ultimately going to be decided in the building behind us by the 9 Supreme Court justices. And the fact that these rulings are coming down, Nick, does add some urgency. A lot of people want to see the court take this up quickly. Now, the question here as to how you can prevent Trump from being on your ballot at all is a bit of a tricky one. Maine and Colorado having to make this decision, they're relying on a couple of arguments that are disputed. Their arguments are this. Donald Trump was a central player in what happened on January 6th. January 6th was definitely an insurrection, and the 14th Amendment bars Trump, therefore, from being eligible to be president. Let's take a look at the language of the 14th Amendment here quickly. It says, "No person shall hold any office, civil or military, under the United States who previously taken an oath to support the Constitution and then engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to enemies thereof." That is a tough argument to make, especially given the fact that no court in the United States has ultimately ruled that Trump committed an insurrection. He's being charged with that from the Department of Justice, but there's no ruling that has actually said that he has done that. So it's a really tough argument to make. You consider that places like California and Michigan, whose courts are in the hands of Democratic-leaning judges at this point, have ruled the opposite of Colorado and Maine, saying Trump can be allowed to be on the ballot in their states. And not surprisingly, Trump's campaign right away came out and opposed this, calling it election interference, accusing Democrats of suspending civil rights of American voters by attempting to summarily remove Trump from the ballot. They say, make no mistake, these partisan election interference efforts are a hostile assault on American democracy. So, Nick, we don't know whether the Supreme Court's going to take this up or when, if they're going to do it. But both sides of these arguments have basically said they want to see the high court ultimately make a ruling on this, so we have clarity as to what's going on here.
Joe Khalil live from the nation's capital. Joe, thank you so much. Here now to help us dissect this and break it down even further is Nichole Stanich, White House columnist with our partners at The Hill. Nichole, I know that you've been following this, you've been writing about this, and you discussed this earlier today with Markie on Morning in America. This cannot help but be seen through a political lens. Now, where does all of this stand?
Well, I mean, I think that the ultimate decision is going to be made by the Supreme Court. And obviously, former President Trump would fancy his chances in the Supreme Court, which has a 6-3 conservative majority, and 3 of those conservatives are justices who were actually nominated by the former president. So in that sense, he has a good chance. Now, the broader issue is likely to me to be one that helps him in the Republican primary, because we have seen Republican voters previously rally around him. But whether this focus on January the 6th helps him in a general election context is much more debatable, because the subject itself turns off independent voters.
And Nichole, much has been made about whether or not justices would read a strict reading of the Constitution and whether or not this would work for or against Mr. Trump in as much as the insurrection clause. Nichole, exactly how does that play in the possible decision down the road?
Well, the insurrection clause is pretty plain on its face. Now, there are other legal arguments about whether the office of president is covered by it. There are issues that the former president's legal team raises about his right to free speech. They say he didn't participate in an insurrection in the first place. Critics obviously very vigorously contest that. The key point here is, are courts going to take someone off of the ballot, or are they going to leave that decision to voters? It is legally defensible, I would say, to keep someone off the ballot, but it's very politically difficult when that person is far and away the front runner to be the nominee of one of the 2 major parties.
Now, much ado has been made also about the timing of these challenges to Mr. Trump on the ballot. I understand a lot of it has to do with no action could be taken until it was actually time to make the ballots. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, I mean, basically the reason behind the timing is, as a litigant, you have to have something to protest against. So before the procedures for the election were formalized, there was no case to file. Now we have situations where obviously the former president is a declared candidate. His name is registered to appear on the ballot. In fact, in the case of the Maine Secretary of State, the most recent one, that Secretary of State held that Mr. Trump had falsely attested that he was qualified to be President of the United States. She says he isn't because of his participation in the insurrection, as she sees it.
Now, before I let you go, what has your reporting shown you? I think that we are in this, we cover this regularly as journalists, but are everyday people caught up in the back and forth of this, or do they see it as a partisan move by Democrats to try and block someone that they don't find to be popular?
I think when it comes to anything around January the 6th, Nick, most people made up their minds by the morning of January the 7th or the evening of January the 6th, maybe. And I'm not convinced that people's views have changed very much between those who hold the former president directly culpable for that and those who do not. So, yes, it is partisan. It's not so much that people don't care about it, in my view. It's that they have fixed opinions about it, which are very difficult to shift. And now, in this particular instance about the ballot access, I do think there's a question where some voters will no doubt feel the courts are interfering with voters' rights to choose who they wish.
And now the countdown begins. We have 11 months to go. Nichole, if I don't speak with you again, Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year to you and yours too, Nick.
Now to Gaza, where Israeli soldiers are accused of firing on a United Nations convoy. The claim coming from the head of the UN Relief Agency for Palestinian Refugees. Joining us from Jerusalem is Associated Press reporter Isabel Debray. Isabel, what more do we know about this incident and the fighting throughout Gaza?
So we know right now that Israeli airstrikes and ground forces have intensified their assaults in the last 24 hours, killing at least 187 Palestinians. That's according to the Palestinian Health Ministry in the Gaza Strip. It doesn't distinguish between militants and civilians, but that does bring the overall death toll of Palestinians in Gaza so far over 21,500. And this comes actually just a couple minutes ago. We've heard from the Israeli military that they are operating in northern Gaza, that they actually discovered the hideout, the underground hideout of the shadowy Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. He's believed to be somewhere underground in Gaza, and they say they found the place where he had fled when he was in the northern Gaza Strip. We can't confirm this claim, but it does come as the Israeli military has been focused on dismantling Hamas infrastructure from north to south, particularly in the southern town of Khan Yunis, where Israeli forces are pushing deeper. We've seen intense battles with Hamas militants in the streets, and all of this is creating this massive wave of displacement. We've actually seen over 100,000 Palestinians, according to the UN, go to the southern town of Rafah near the Egyptian border. It's not even a large town, and that's only in the past few days. And they're escaping increasing bombardment in that southern town of Khan Yunis and the central Gaza Strip that have come under the focus of the ground offensive. And these are people that have fled for the second, third, or fourth time because they often fled to that southern city of Khan Yunis from the north where the invasion began. So this is clearly just another difficult step for them. And we're seeing also that Rafah, of course, is this gateway for humanitarian aid. It's the only place where aid is able to come in addition to this this Israeli crossing, but only a few trucks are going through there. So for Rafah, that's where around 90 trucks go through a day. Of course, UN officials say that's not sufficient at all. And then they outline a few reasons for that. Martin Griffiths, the relief chief, he said there are many reasons why it's just not enough aid going through. And he said that exact thing that you mentioned, this convoy that has come under attack. He said direct attacks on convoys are exactly the reason why we are not able to get the aid where it needs to go. That's on top of damaged roads, constant bombardment, delays at checkpoints, poor communication. He just listed more and more things that just made it so difficult for UN agencies to get the aid where it needs to go. I've asked the military about that incident of them firing at this UN convoy that was coming from northern Gaza to the south after delivering aid. They did not immediately offer comment. They said they were investigating the reports.
Isabel DeBray, thank you so much. Stay safe on the ground. Backlash over Israel's war against Hamas prompting increased security for New Year celebrations here and around the world. New York City is bracing for the possibility of large pro-Palestinian protests following disruptions to both the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and the lighting of the Rockefeller Christmas tree. NewsNation's Laura Ingle is live in Times Square. Laura, we heard earlier today Mayor Adams say that the NYPD is ready.
That's right. And, you know, we do the story every year. Security is always tight here in Times Square for New Year's Eve. But, of course, this is a year like no other. And Mayor Adams is set to hold a security briefing later this afternoon. We do expect to hear some more detail about what the city is preparing to do. But I want to give you a quick little taste and flavor of what's happening here in Times Square. Just behind my shoulder, you can see that there is a stage. You see that people are setting up for the big New Year's Eve presentation, and all of this preparing for potential pro-Palestinian protests on top of it, and federal concerns over possible terror attacks due to the Israel-Hamas war. Now, we are already seeing NYPD securing the streets here in Times Square. Mayor Adams says that visitors will see NYPD officers throughout the expected crowd of 1 million people. The FBI and Homeland Security will also help with heightened security presence, as they warned of an increased risk of terror attacks around public gatherings as we inch closer to the ball drop. Now, we have seen multiple pro-Palestinian protests across New York. Most recently, these protests caused disruptions, as you mentioned, at the Rockefeller tree lighting and shutting down the front entrance of the World Trade Center just yesterday. All of this bringing concerns from local and federal officials that protesters could actually be planning to disrupt the New Year's Eve ball drop festivities on Sunday. Security experts say lone wolf attacks are always a concern, in addition to potential larger-scale coordinated attacks.
The reality is a terrorist attack can happen on truly any day, right? This isn't something where it's kind of, you know, the day that's most popular to Americans or anything like that. And so I think we need to be careful not to be complacent from a security standpoint to the other days of the year. And I'm not saying we should live our lives in fear. That's not what I'm saying. But I think security measures need to be in place all the time.
And again, New York Mayor Eric Adams is set to hold a press briefing in the next hour. We should get some more detail on that, but I can tell you from being here in Times Square, it's a sunny, beautiful day. Everything seems calm. People are buying their New Year's Eve glasses and hats. Everything looks like it's on track, especially with these preps here you see here behind me. But of course, it's always a concern. It's something that we have to be aware of every single day. If you see something, say something. We hear it every single year, and it is very important, again, for this weekend.
Laura Ingle, live in New York Times Square. Thank you so much. Up next, a massive rogue wave sends people running for their lives. A look at what happened that eventually landed several people in the hospital. Plus, a dramatic moment, a Texas SWAT team uses its bulletproof digger at the end of an hours-long chase. What the machine does in the minutes that matter the most.
A must in your medicine cabinet.
Cold coming on? Zicam is the #1 cold shortening brand.
Highly recommended.
People love Zicam's unique zinc formula.
It shortens colds.
Zicam shorten that cold.
Meet Gold Bond Daily Healing, a powerhouse lotion that moisturizes, heals, and smooths dry skin with 7 moisturizers and 3 vitamins. And new Gold Bond Healing Sensitive, clinically shown to heal and moisturize dry, sensitive skin. Gold Bond.
There are more identity threats than you realize. LifeLock alerts you and works to fix problems with a dedicated restoration specialist. Go to lifelock.com.
You date like you aren't 22 anymore. And that's a good thing. Because dating as a fully formed, emotionally mature human, man, that's on a whole other level.
All right, go ahead and open your eyes. You're looking at 7 pounds of butter.
This is what 7 pounds feels like?
Now you can lose up to 7 pounds in your first 7 days with Nutrisystem's new 7 in 7.
That's what I was carrying around?
Think about losing this.
Because it's a fact, when you get off to a fast start, you're more likely to reach your weight loss goals. So our nutritionist created the perfect first week to prime your body for steady weight loss and shift it into the burn zone.
7 in 7 is so easy. Everything's laid out for you.
You get up to 77 grams of protein a day, including 1 week of hunger control shakes, 1 week of new fat-burning bars, and 1 week of big and filling Hearty Inspirations dinners, all designed and combined to control your appetite for over 9 hours.
If it wasn't true, they couldn't say it.
So you can lose this, up to 7 pounds in 7 days with Nutrisystem. Order the all-new 7 in 7 and get 50% off your first week. Plus, get free shipping with promo code FREE.
With Nurtec ODT, I can treat a migraine when it strikes and prevent migraine attacks, all in one.
Don't take if allergic to Nurtec. Allergic reactions can occur, even days after using. Most common side effects were nausea, indigestion, and stomach pain.
Ask about Nurtec ODT.
An important message for Americans age 50 to 85.
Oh my gosh, you're still using Mom's old coffee pot.
It's my inheritance.
Well, it is a family heirloom.
You know what? The kids can just sell it to pay for my funeral.
It's a good thing you have life insurance.
Life insurance with our family history.
Don't you know about Colonial Penn? It's guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance with no medical questions asked.
I'm on a fixed income.
Who isn't?
You have it?
We all do. John, Maria, even Paul with all of his medical problems.
Colonial Penn.
That's right. Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company. As you get older, your health may change. Colonial Penn understands that. And we don't think it should keep you from getting life insurance to help protect your family. That's why we guarantee acceptance to everyone aged 50 to 85. No health questions, no medical exam. Applying is easy. And you have your choice of options starting at $9.95 a month, a few dollars a week, 35 cents a day. And your price will never go up. A lifetime rate lock guarantees it. This protection can last a lifetime, too. Some insurance policies end once you reach a certain age. Not this one. Pay your bill, and it's yours to keep for as long as you'd like.
How did you apply?
Called for information, got an application, filled it out, sent it back. It took a few minutes. And look at this. They sent me this free beneficiary planner just for calling. I filled in all my important information and final wishes. Now my kids will have everything they need in one place.
Ready to learn more? Call for free information and your free gift. There's no obligation. Every policy we issue comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. You have nothing to lose. Why wait? Call now.
Call 1-800-848-4215 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-848-4215. There's no obligation. 1-800-848-4215. Call now.
Scary moments caught on camera in Southern California. Look at that huge wave. Yep. Came up on shore, caught beachgoers off guard, and forced them to run away in fear. Now, authorities say more than half a dozen people were hurt in the unexpected surge as a massive swell creates towering waves along the California coast. Correspondent Ryan Bass is live with those details. And Ryan, as a reporter, I have covered that area myself, so I know they often give a warning, get out of the way, but people don't always listen.
And they had been giving warnings all week long, Nick, about how powerful these rogue waves could be out there in Ventura Beach, California. And that video you showed, I mean, it just makes your heart pound. When this wave crashed over the coastline and swept up a lot of these people, 9 people had to be hospitalized when this wave crashed through. I want you to see that video in full that you just played to get really an experience what the heart-pounding moment was like when those people and a truck was swept up by that current.
Whoa.
Again, 9 people were rushed to the hospital by paramedics. Witnesses told our affiliate that several people suffered broken bones. The National Weather Service warned of dangerous high surf this weekend with 10 to 20-foot waves expected and flooding for a number of Southern California beach communities, including Ventura County, where that video was. Those warnings extend into tonight and tomorrow. Here's some security footage from a beachside restaurant near Santa Cruz, California. The waves crashing into an outdoor seating area, flooding the entire deck. You see it right there. It's one of the many local restaurants, businesses, and beachside homes along the Southern California coast that were damaged after the record high swells crashed ashore.
A lot of lessons were learned today when you look at that video about the importance of heeding on to the warnings about giving the ocean some respect.
It was horrific. There was a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of cussing. I didn't know how far this was going to go. I thought to myself, this is a tsunami, is what it looks like to me.
It felt like a tsunami to so many people that were there, too. And crews actually worked overnight with a lot of these heavy equipment operators trying to reinforce and fill in gaps along the coastline. They actually built these 6 to 8 foot walls with sand to try and protect the coastline and a lot of the folks and businesses that live along there as they do try and focus on the recovery efforts to really try and prevent a lot of those high waves from going onto the coastline again. A lot of local firefighters, Nick, are going to be out patrolling the areas of those beaches. Those warnings are expected to be into tomorrow as well. And again, when you talk about these really, really powerful waves, NOAA actually defines these rogue waves as being unpredictable, dangerous, and at least twice the height of surrounding waves. So I do think, Nick, now people are definitely going to heed those warnings.
Oh, they're going to heed those warnings. Some are. And then, Ryan, I can tell you that in the Santa Cruz area, others will be trying to catch swells so they can surf. Ryan Bass, thank you so much. Up next, major changes to a device used by millions of Americans. The latest warning from doctors for asthma patients with inhalers and what experts are calling a huge shock to the system. Plus, a small town that some say will never be the same. We take a look back at one of Ohio's biggest disasters to date.
Ram makes trucks for everyone, like those with holiday spirit and those with not so much. We make trucks for good Samaritans, good neighbors, and even people covered in tree sap. Whatever life you live this holiday, Ram has a truck for you.
During the Ram Wrap Up the Year sales event, get 10% below MSRP plus no monthly payments for 90 days on virtually all 2023 Ram light duty and heavy duty trucks.
I was born with idiopathic
idiopathic infantile scoliosis. I've had 17 surgeries.
I was born missing my lower right foot.
I was born 10 weeks early without my left arm.
I have osteogenesis imperfecta. I've broken over 70 bones in my lifetime.
With my polio, I have tough days and my pain just pops out of nowhere. There's nothing to be afraid of because all the doctors are all so nice.
Most people think, oh, it's the medical side of things at Shriners Hospital, but for me, it's the confidence that I've gotten.
When somebody sees these commercials, there'll be a phone number on the screen, and all they have to do is call and make a donation to help kids like me.
Thanks to a generous donor, every dollar you give can help twice as many kids like me and have double the impact.
When you join with us, we'll send you one of these adorable blankets as a thank you and a reminder of all the abilities you are helping make possible.
We have so much to celebrate this time of year.
Thanks to a generous donor, your gift will go twice as far and help more kids like me.
You are the bestie because Shriners has given you the confidence that you need.
It's just really cool knowing that you're part of something bigger than yourself.
Shriners has given so much to us, and we have a mission and we have a goal that we want to help more kids.
From all of us at Shriners Hospitals for Children, Merry Christmas.
Please call the number on your screen and give just $19 a month, only 63 cents a day, or whatever you can to help kids like us this Christmas. And when you do, your gift will have 2 times the impact.
Being in debt was just such a challenge as a working single mom.
I was working 3 jobs just to make ends meet.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to get out of debt by myself.
National Debt Relief negotiated with my creditors and reduced my debt by half.
National Debt Relief can significantly reduce the amount you owe.
National Debt Relief got me out of debt.
I feel like I'm in control again. I feel like I'm taking my life back now.
Call or visit nationaldebtrelief.com to get started.
This important message is for Marines and family members who spent 30 days on base at Camp Lejeune prior to 1988.
As a U.S. military veteran, I'm here to inform you that if you or someone you love has been diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's, or other serious health issues after spending time at Camp Lejeune, you may qualify for financial compensation. Call now to determine your eligibility.
I called to see if I qualify. They helped me a lot.
Leaking chemical storage tanks at Camp Lejeune contaminated the drinking water with highly toxic chemicals. Marines and their family members have been diagnosed with multiple cancers and other serious health issues. But there is now a new law that gives victims the opportunity to receive financial compensation for their illnesses without going to court.
I finally got some answers. I'm glad I called.
You need to call now to see if you qualify. It costs you nothing if you don't win.
Call 800-817-9413. 800-817-9413.
Welcome back. A dramatic confrontation forced a Texas SWAT team to rip apart an 18-wheeler just to get the driver out of the cab. This after he led them on an hours-long chase in Houston. Take a look at this video. This is a monster. You can see the SWAT vehicle, better known as the Rook, just tear apart the cab portion of that semi-truck. Police say this all started when sheriff's deputies tried to pull the truck over, but the driver ignored their commands. They ended up using the spike strips to stop the truck along the highway. Police say the driver was pressing on the gas and holding on even as officers tried to drag him out of the truck. Ultimately, they were able to arrest him. Police don't know why the driver was acting this way, but they do say that he appeared to be suffering from, quote, heavy impairment. Let's bring in retired Sergeant Betsy Bratner Smith, spokeswoman for the National Police Association. Sergeant Bratner Smith, I have to ask you this. You've seen this type of equipment used before. My guess is, even though it looks dramatic to the layperson, it really is designed to keep officers safe and even protect potential suspects.
Well, you're absolutely right. Remember, this situation went on for hours. This is I-10, an extremely busy highway. You've got people trying to get places. You've got a lot of commerce happening. And they have already deployed spike strips, which made the vehicle stop. And I want people to know that we have had 3 police officers murdered this year while deploying spike strips. So they've already done that. They've had hostage negotiators. That's something I used to do. They have already tried everything they can do, but this man was apparently so impaired that he just stayed inside the cab and continue to press on the gas pedal. So having the resources, and this is Harris County Sheriff's Office, to employ something like the Rook was really a godsend in this situation, saving police officers' lives and injuries, and also potentially saving the lives of the public and getting traffic moving again.
And Sergeant Bratner Smith, I want to go back to that and just really help to illustrate that point, because it's also about keeping the public safe. We can sit back and say, this looks awfully dramatic. Why did they have to do that? But at this time, at this point of this investigation, officers had no idea what may have been in the truck, what may have been the problem, and whether or not this could have escalated to a larger situation.
And you're absolutely right. We have no idea if this man is armed. We have no idea, is this a terrorism incident? Why has he been leading police on this, slow chase for hours? Remember, they spent 3 hours after they stopped him trying to negotiate. Now, the Rook is a relatively expensive piece of equipment, and most police departments do not have these kind of resources. But the Harris County Sheriff's Office, which has an excellent SWAT team, it's an excellent police agency. I have trained there. They had this equipment available. They have the operator to operate it. And it was a really, really well done piece of police work. I wish every police department in the country could have this kind of equipment, have this type of, have this ability to have this response. Unfortunately, in the era of, defund the police and the vilification of law enforcement, most departments, unfortunately, don't have this kind of equipment.
And the truth is also, Sergeant Bratner Smith, one of the things to be highlighted here as well is that when you have equipment like this, you're able to keep everyone involved safe. If officers can go home at the end of the day, and even a suspect who had at this time not been charged is able to leave that scene also healthy and alive, I think it's a success all the way around. Let's talk about, though, the expense. Why can't more departments afford equipment that helps to keep both the public and officers safe? What is the problem there?
Well, there's two things. First of all, going back to 2014, 2015, a lot of this equipment, like the Rook, was seen as military or paramilitary equipment, and these things were taken away from police departments. Then fast forward to 2020, where you had so many police departments in this country, starting in Texas with Austin, Texas, you had millions and millions and millions of dollars removed from their budgets. 90% of a police department's budget is personnel cost. In most large police departments, they are short-staffed and they don't even have enough police officers to answer 911 calls. So to have a piece of equipment like this and the personnel to operate it is really a luxury that most police departments can no longer afford. And you make such a great point that this is life-saving equipment, not just for the police officers, but for the public. But this equipment and the people to operate it costs money, and not every jurisdiction wants to spend that money.
Sergeant Bratner Smith, happy holidays to you and your family and the officers with whom you work. Stay safe.
Thank you so much.
What started as a report of a train derailment led to one of the biggest stories of the year for a small community in Ohio called East Palestine. NewsNation has spent more time on the ground there than any other TV network, covering the problems reported by the people still living there and pushing for answers. Here's correspondent Rich McHugh.
A Norfolk Southern train derails in East Palestine, Ohio, carrying toxic chemicals, among them vinyl chloride, a known carcinogen.
I heard a noise, and then all of a sudden there was a hell of a fire.
Some 1,500 residents told to evacuate.
It was much higher than 100-foot tall trees on the back of my property.
Fearing an explosion, officials decide to vent and burn 5 tank cars, releasing 116,000 gallons of toxic vinyl chloride into the air. It looks like a volcanic eruption. Minutes later, the toxic plume of smoke smothering the region.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's get out of here.
We basically nuked the town with chemicals so we could get a railroad open.
But 3 days later, the EPA said it had not detected contaminants at, quote, levels of concern, and gave the all clear for residents to return.
With the full support and backing of Governor DeWine, I am happy to announce that the evacuation order is now lifted.
Immediately, residents complained of rashes and sickness.
I undressed to get into the shower, and I had a rash all over the side of my face, on both sides, and all over my chest.
There are absolutely still kids with nosebleeds, adults with nosebleeds, chemical burns.
Tensions are high. The ugly divide between the authorities and those asking tough questions exposed when NewsNation's Evan Lambert arrested while doing his job.
Go now, or you can go to jail.
I'm going to listen.
I don't care. You're going to walk out the door.
I'm going to listen.
You're going to walk
Do
out
not
the door.
touch me.
Mine out, sir. You're going to walk out the door. Or you're going to jail.
Do not touch me.
Sir, can we talk outside, please? Your studio. Okay.
I have eight kids. We have 26 grandkids. So if any of them lived here, I would tell them, drink the water.
Politicians swooped into town. President Biden, however, did not.
Are there any plans for President Biden to visit East Palestine?
I don't have anything to share on a planned visit for the president to Ohio.
A discovery in the creeks undercuts all the PR and messaging. So we're here at Leslie Run. It's a couple miles outside of town. I'd heard people were doing this. I had to see for myself. So basically, if you stick the stick in the water, it looks clear, but you stick your stick in the water, you see all the chemicals pop to the surface in like a rainbow form. It's kind of frightening. In March, an independent testing expert confirmed our fears.
We found carcinogens in the water. We found carcinogens that Ohio EPA is not finding.
And worse, more independent testing finds dioxins, the most toxic compounds on the planet, in the soil, water, and in people's air filters there.
Dioxins don't go away. You get exposed over time. And dioxins, I say, are the fentanyl of chemicals.
By May, frustration has grown.
Do I think I'll ever be post February 3rd again? Never. Thank you, Norfolk Southern.
How many people here feel that they've experienced symptoms or sickness related to the train derailment and the controlled burn? Wow, that's like every hand.
The EPA has not tested my house, my soil, nothing.
Residents angry with an EPA and an administration they feel is ignoring the facts and ignoring them.
We are screaming out for help. What does somebody have to do before we get help?
These are our lives. These are our children's lives.
We pressed for answers. Why do you think people are getting sick here?
I don't know the answer to that.
It's not a stretch to say that the vinyl chloride that was in those tankers might have ended up in their systems.
Oh, there's a potential they were exposed. I'm not saying that. I'm saying right now we don't see an exposure pathway.
And we continued to listen and to report.
Thanks to NewsNation for being the only national network committed. These residents of this community wouldn't have hope right now if it weren't for NewsNation.
Ohio Governor DeWine finally declared the area a disaster and requested help from President Biden.
I've spoken with every official in Ohio, Democrat and Republican, and I will be answering some.
But Biden has neither visited nor has he signed a disaster declaration.
We have just gotten a big old middle finger. I feel like my community does not matter to the president that I actually voted for.
Oh, look at all the dead fish.
And the creeks in town remain horribly contaminated. This is just upstream from where I did this in February. It's now September. Let's see what happens here. Yikes. It just keeps coming. It's like that picture, that painting, Van Gogh, what was it? Scary Starry Night? Today, nearly 1 year later, the residents say their problems are getting worse, not better.
How do you feel?
I'm disgusted. To be honest, I stay busy enough to keep advocating for the community that I don't have time to think about it. And that's pretty much the only way I can deal with it right now.
And that officials and an administration are choosing to ignore.
Who believes that you have been forgotten? Well, I'm sorry for that. The only thing I can promise you is NewsNation's not going anywhere.
The all-in-one and done symptom relief of Mucinex is delivered fast with DoorDash, so you don't have to leave the couch. Boom. That was fast. Mucinex, available on DoorDash. It's comeback season.
Meet Gold Bond Daily Healing, a powerhouse lotion that moisturizes, heals, and smooths dry skin with 7 moisturizers and 3 vitamins. And new Gold Bond Healing Sensitive, clinically shown to heal and moisturize dry, sensitive skin. Gold Bond.
Who's that? Who's that?
This is my coffee.
Cancer, it's different in a child because your child's still growing. I had 14 rounds of chemo. There's thousands and thousands of kids all over the world who need help.
This is my first time having cancer, and it's the very worst.
Time is running out to give a year-end gift like no other. A gift that can help St. Jude Children's Research Hospital save lives.
It's scary to watch your kid battle and fight for their lives.
1 in 5 children diagnosed with cancer in the U.S. will not survive.
Childhood cancer is hard. It's a long road. You just have to give. You have to give someone that hope, and especially with them being so young.
Please call, go online, or scan the QR code for only $19 a month. Families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food, so they can focus on helping their child live.
She grew up in this. So when we go to St. Jude, she's happy because that's her home. Every time I take her to the doctor, she's excited because she gets to play. And that's all because of St. Jude.
When you call or go online with your credit or debit card right now, we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt you can wear to show your support to help St. Jude save the lives of these children.
Si St. Jude no existiera, mi hijo no estaría vivo. Mi hijo sería un angelito.
Every gift counts, and whatever you can give will make a difference.
So many of us have struggled with our weight, and you get to that point where you almost give up, almost, but don't do that, because you've got Complete 50 from Nutrisystem, a weight loss and wellness plan specifically created for women over 50 that really works.
Complete 50 works along with a woman's metabolism and helps target body fat, especially around the middle, shown in a clinical study to reduce harmful belly fat by 8% in your first month.
If it wasn't true, they couldn't say it. Nutrisystem understands just what a woman needs. Complete 50 is designed so you have more calories and carbs early in the day to get the results you want.
Get fully prepared meals and snacks, including hearty inspirations that control your appetite for up to 5 hours.
Let me tell you, I tried a lot of things to lose weight, and I am so glad I tried Nutrisystem, and you will be too.
Order now and get $30 off. Plus, get free shipping with promo code FREE.
Have you heard? Sling TV offers the news you love for less. Wait, you look and sound just like me. Actually, I am you. Because I'm the same news programs on Sling for less. You mean you're me, but for less money? A lot less. I'm all your favorite news programs and more on Sling, starting at just $40 a month. Everything great about me, but for less money, which makes me greater, don't you think? It's the same news for less, starting at $40 a month. Sling.
The new year bringing with it a warning from doctors of asthma patients. Come January 1st, a popular inhaler, Flovent, is being pulled from pharmacy shelves and replaced by a generic version. Joining me now with the consequences to millions of Americans are healthcare attorney Harry Nelson and Dr. William Feldman. Gentlemen, 27 million Americans suffer from asthma. That's 1 in 12 Americans, including 1 in 10 children. I'm just going to start with you, Dr. Feldman. This medication is most commonly used inhaler for years. This is a big deal for asthma patients, I know, but I've also understand that a generic version doesn't make it any less than the name brand. Is that true?
Any less in terms of the price?
Any less as a person of its efficacy?
That's right. So the generic version it functions just as well as the brand name version. The issue here is that a lot of insurers may not cover the authorized generic version. And so patients who are currently on Flovent may actually have to switch their inhalers.
And therein lies the problem. You know, that is the point that was lost to me there. Hadn't even thought about that. So the fact is, there are those who, Mr. Nelson, are on a budget and may find themselves in a situation where now the drug has become more expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a case where American consumers and the patients, the families that need this inhaler, are paying a price because of the financial strategy of the pharmaceutical, of the drug maker, which was trying to basically dodge a penalty that was going to come into effect under what's called the Medicaid drug rebate program. So basically, in order to avoid paying money to the government, GSK, the pharmaceutical, is making it harder financially on American consumers.
Gotcha. So is there a potential problem with insurance coverage then, you believe?
Oh, absolutely. The problem is that the current branded form of the drug is approved on these formularies, and that's a process that takes a lot of time to negotiate. And so this new generic is not recognized by any of the insurance companies as a valid alternative. And so basically, patients and their doctors are going to have to figure out an alternative.
Yeah, and according to the Allergy and Asthma Network, annual healthcare costs for asthma is roughly $82 billion, or about $3,300 per person a year. It is a big business, Mr. Nelson.
Oh yeah, this is, and by the way, the cost when it comes to generic, a lot of people know that generics are typically cheaper than branded drugs, but in this case, the average cost of the branded version, that when the government pays for it or insurance pays for it, is about $275, and this is going to drop it down to about $170. So this is a big ticket item for a chronic need that patients are going to have throughout the year to get inhalers, and this is a massive financial burden being shifted from a drug company to patients, and that's something feels wrong about that.
It does indeed. Dr. Feldman, what are you then telling your patients, some of whom I have to believe are a bit concerned, if not panicked, about what the change could mean?
So I will say that there are alternatives to Flovent products. Aside from the authorized generic, there are other branded medications in the same class that can be used. And so the key is for folks who are switching to make sure that they are educated about how to use their new inhalers, because different inhalers require different techniques. So I think the shock to patients can be offset by proper education and counseling.
Gotcha. So then why is the maker, and I'll ask you this too, Dr. Feldman, why is the maker, GlaxoSmithKline, making the change to begin with?
So the main reason appears to be a new law that is going into effect January the 1st in just a couple of days that lifts a cap that had previously applied to rebates paid in Medicaid. So it's a very complex, nuanced issue. But at the end of the day, by lifting this cap, GSK, for certain old drugs where the prices have been hiked numerous times over the years, companies like GSK will actually have to pay the government, pay Medicaid money when patients are using their products. Rather than actually receiving money, they're actually paying money. And so for these old drugs that again have experienced numerous price hikes, the new law will have an effect on GSK's bottom line and other manufacturers.
Dr. Feldman, once again, this all sounds like something we've heard echoed time and time again, that there needs to be some type of overhaul or reform in the way medication is not only priced but distributed. Are there new laws regarding prescriptions beyond this that are raising concern for you, Dr. Feldman?
So I think the Inflation Reduction Act passed in last year, and I think that will allow Medicare to negotiate prices for the first time. I think that will be good for patients. But there are so many parts of our prescription drugs system that are a mess, and I think there are numerous changes that are needed in the coming years.
And last question, Mr. Nelson, January 1st is Monday. If asthma patients haven't already made the switch, what can they do now?
They should be reaching out to their doctors to get prescriptions. There's a product, Pulmicort, put out by AstraZeneca, that seems to be a popular replacement, a lower cost product that's similar. But they should talk to their doctors about it. And if I can, just to add one point, just to make this clear, the reason this is happening is because the price of this drug doubled over the last 10 years, so close to doubled, when inflation only went up by about 75-80%. So they would be responsible for paying that whole difference. The drug company would be responsible to pay that. So I think that we're going to see this on a lot of drugs for chronic conditions, because the drug companies have been raising their prices every year, and they have not paid attention until now. Until Monday, they didn't have to worry about whether they were raising their prices more than inflation was going up.
Mr. Nelson, with a warning that this may be only the tip of the iceberg. Mr. Nelson, thank you. Dr. Feldman, thank you both. Happy holidays to both of you.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Up next, we meet the teen who wants to be the first woman to be the best in bull riding. Plus, the big weekend for college football, we dig into the all-star lineup featuring some of the most successful schools in the country.
My New Year's resolution, really want to spend more time outside.
We welcome you to Winter Classic.
I think I'm going to travel more.
Seattle, we're coming.
Outdoor hockey.
You gotta live life to the fullest.
Accomplish my goals. You know what? I got to upgrade my wardrobe.
These are the jerseys.
Awfully good looking. I just want to have more fun.
The signature event of the NHL. An electric atmosphere.
Let's go.
The 2024 Discover NHL Winter Classic, New Year's Day on TNT.
I'm gonna sell my life insurance, 'cause I don't need it anymore.
My kids are grown, my wife is great, let's settle up the score.
It's time to travel to Paris. Spend retirement happy. Call 877-SELL-EASY. 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 And sell your policy. You can sell all or part. Live your life, play it smart. 877-SELL-EASY. And sell your policy.
If you've had a change in health, or you're over 65, and paying for $100,000 or more in a life insurance policy you don't need, get paid for it instead.
Take the money that you get, gonna live it up, you bet. Call 877-SELL-EASY. 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 And sell your policy.
Online dating? I know people meet that way, but where would I even begin?
Open laptop, go to OurTime.com, look for free. It's easy to take a look on Our Time, the dating site for people over 50.
Over 13 million Americans were affected by identity theft in 2022. And the threats go way beyond just credit card fraud. Today's identity thieves can open loans, transfer home titles, and even commit crimes in your name.
Someone got my social security number, made a driver's license, and it was used for criminal activity.
Your information is exposed through online shopping, banking, even corporate data breaches. No wonder there's a new victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. Only LifeLock alerts you to the widest volume of threats all in one place.
I clicked, "That's not me," and LifeLock took it from there.
If you become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix the issue. All LifeLock members are backed by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package, including reimbursement for stolen funds.
I will be with LifeLock forever.
Enrollment takes just minutes. Call now or go online and use promo code GET25 to save 25% on your first year. Enroll now.
Attention, former Marines and family members stationed at Camp Lejeune. If you lived or worked at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina for at least 30 days from August 1953 through December 1987 and have been diagnosed with cancer, neurobehavioral effects, had a child born with birth defects, were diagnosed with fertility issues or more, you may qualify for significant financial compensation. Call Saddle Rock Legal Group now to discuss your case. It has been proven that the water at Camp Lejeune during those years was extremely contaminated with toxic chemicals. A new law passed by Congress now allows veterans and their surviving family members to bring lawsuits and potentially recover damages for harm from exposure to contaminated water at Camp Lejeune. Don't wait until it's too late. It only takes a few minutes and the call is completely free. Call Saddle Rock Legal Group to discuss your case now.
Call 1-800-773-6677. That's 1-800-773-6677.
The vast majority of people are in the sensible middle. They're not the far right wing and they're not the far left wing. Every point of view is represented on NewsNation.
Veteran journalist Elizabeth Vargas, now on NewsNation.
All right, she's 17 years old, weighs roughly 100 pounds, and she wants to be the first woman at the top of professional bull riding. Her name is Nasia Knight, and she has her eyes on the prize. The high school junior from Oregon who climbs on top of 1,300-pound bulls to crowd noise and blaring music joins me now. Nasia, I just want you to know that it is an honor to have you here with us this afternoon. You're a fierce competitor in the sport of bull riding. Tell me, please, how a tiny little girl gets started in bull riding.
Well, I got started in bull riding because of my dad. He's taught me everything I know, everything I've ever learned. There are some other people that have helped me. You know, they give me pointers, they give me tips. Everyone's so helpful, and it's amazing. Okay, Nasia, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move away from the typical role of, oh my gosh, she's so tiny, she's so cute. Surely she isn't attracted to this sport. Let's remove all that. You are an athlete. You're serious about your craft. Only about 30 of the best riders from around the world reach the top level. What does it take to be among the best? What has your dad taught you, and what do you employ daily as you move in this area of this sport? For me, it takes heart, drive, and dedication. You have to have the heart to do it. You have to have the drive to go for it. If you're scared, you're going to get hurt more than you would if you weren't scared. You also have to have fun with it. If you're not having fun, then what's the point of doing it?
Well, Nasia, let me ask you this, though, because here I am. I'm 254 pounds. I have to believe that a little more meat or weight on the bones would help because it is a dangerous sport. You have to stay on top of that bucking bull for 8 seconds with one hand in the air. I have to believe not only are you nervous, but part of you has to be thinking, well, if I were as big as Nick, this would be a whole lot easier. Or is that not true?
That is not true, actually. A lot of bull riders are pretty small and pretty lightweight because if you're too heavy and you're too top heavy, it could throw off your balance.
Well, I'm not top heavy. I'm definitely bottom heavy, Nasia. I'm not standing up right now, so you can't see that part. But what do you think your parents think about you doing this? Clearly, your dad is a supporter. He's a supporter of you as an athlete. But if you weren't attracted to the bull riding, would there have been another sport? When you found this one, you said, nope, Dad, this is it.
Well, I'm actually in basketball and volleyball as well. But they are very supportive of my bull riding. My dad's always there with me. You see him in almost all my photos. He's just on the bucking chute. He's helping me, pulling my rope. My mom's in the stands. She's my cheerleader. And those are the only two I can hear.
Well, Nasia, I can tell you have more cheerleaders now because even those of us who are here in the studio are absolutely fascinated with this. I do want to ask you before I let you go, what is the reaction from other bull riders when they see you? Here comes this competitor. Maybe they only see the first or last name on a scratch sheet. And then here you come, and they're like, whoa, what is the reaction?
Most of them are really excited to meet me because some of them know me pretty well. But when they don't know me, they're like, oh, okay, awesome. And everyone's honestly been super supportive.
Well, Nasia, we are supportive as well. Nasia Knight, we wish you nothing but the best. Happy New Year, and keep on riding. You keep doing that thing.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year. Thank
Same to you. Up next, Russia unleashes its biggest aerial barrage on Ukraine since the start of its war. We're back with what it means for those living on the front lines.
Introducing new 7 in 7 from Nutrisystem. Lose up to 7 pounds in your first 7 days. Because losing weight fast is shown to help you reach your weight loss goals.
I saw results my very first week. I went on to lose 48 pounds.
Once I started losing, I just wanted to keep going. I went on to lose 52 pounds.
Order your 28-day plan right now, and we'll rush you 7 in 7, which includes 7 days of new fat-burning bars, 7 days of hunger control shakes, and 7 days of big and filling Hearty Inspirations dinners to help you lose up to 7 pounds fast.
If it wasn't true, they couldn't say it.
With Nutrisystem, you'll lose weight, improve your health, and burn more fat.
Your first 7 pounds, gone.
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 With Nutrisystem, eat the food, lose the weight. Call or go online right now and save $30. Plus, get free shipping with promo code FREE.